What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to, well, do you know what? This is a repeat episode, and the reason is iTunes messed up a little. It messed up a little, so some people didn't get to hear Shawn Wells' episode. You might have even noticed that 225 wasn't there. So there was all of this confusion. So what I'm doing is I'm putting Shawn's episode on again. And by the way, he is being voted as the world's #1 formulator for nutrition. So you probably want to listen. The guy is incredible. This is such a different episode to what he's used to doing, because obviously he's talking about nutrition and peptides and his journey, which is got an incredible journey. We're going to have to bring him and his wife on again. But you're going to listen to this again. And I want you to listen to it again, because there is one big golden nugget in here that has truly changed my life. It's very subtle, and I want to see if you can pick it up, because if you pick it up, it's a game changer. So enjoy this episode again. I'm sorry if you've heard it before, but hey, now you can go and look for the golden nugget. Much love. I'll speak to you soon.
Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 226. Hope you're awesome as always. I always say that, and I mean it, you know. It's just so easy and automatic for people to say, how you doing? And everyone just goes, oh, I'm good, especially in the States. That was one of the first things I noticed years ago. It was everyone just said the good, right? But it's just an automatic thing. And the truth is, we're not always good. And sometimes we are, right? But that's the roller coaster of life and being an entrepreneur. So sometimes we can get overwhelmed. Sometimes we can get lost in our vision, in the mission, or we can get too focused on money, or we can get too focused on one specific goal, and it can overwhelm us. It can take over. And it doesn't matter what level of the game you're playing at, whether it's earning 5 figures or you're earning 9 figures. It's the same ride. It's about you being able to control your mind, your emotions, and who you are in that moment, no matter what's going on. So if you're overwhelmed right now, if you're stressed, freaking out, then guess what? You're probably not the only one listening who thinks like that, or is going through that chapter or that page of your book of life right now. But I want you to remember something. You have been here before. And even if you haven't been in this scenario before, you've been in this pain before to some degree, right? And I know something. You got out. You did. You had success. There's other areas of your life, there was a moment, right there was a moment that you simply changed your perspective, changed your focus, changed your frequency, adjusted your filter, your neural nets, your chemicals. You did that, right? You hung around with different people. You read and watched and listened to such radically different things. And what happened? That's right. The brain simply adjusted. Now, we have to keep that adjustment going. So I want you to just remember a moment in your life, or maybe the feeling is all you need right now. The feeling of just, enough's enough. I'm done. Let's go after this. Let's make this change. Let's get that client. Let's close that deal. Let's launch that product. Let's make that trade, right? Let's go into that meeting and smash it. I know you've done it before. So I just want you to remember that now, and go in there and just maybe even want to see what the world was at that time. You know, were you hanging around with awesome people? What were you watching? How were you in flow? Because when you remember that now and you think about the future this way, doesn't things seem just a little different? Don't things just seem a little bit brighter? And that's simply what you need to remember now, thinking about the future. Isn't it interesting, crew? Yeah, I went on a bit of a rant as usual, right? I keep going into these random rants at the very start of the episode. So, hey, I don't know. It comes out. But I just want you to understand, this is about performance. Mindset by Design is about performance. What I'm about is world-class performance, and I want that in you. And what performance means is being able to be in absolute dominant control of you. And it doesn't matter what level of the game you're playing at. If you're not feeling that right now, or you've dipped success and you've been kicking ass, and you've maybe dipped or you've hit a ceiling around your business, then I want you to remember the only thing that's going to get you through that is world-class performance, okay? That's it. And that's a nice segue. Not segue, the thing that you ride around on. Segue is into today's guest. Today's guest is, I'm blessed to have this dude on. I just absolutely love him in every aspect. He's an absolute beast. In a good way. And the cool thing is about this, it's all recorded. So if you're listening to this on audio, you can head over to the show notes and you can actually watch the whole video, right? Us speaking live on YouTube, which is pretty damn cool, right? So I'm just going to read from his bio because I can't remember it all because it's too good, right? So I'm just going to read from his bio and you'll realize how awesome Shawn Wells is. Okay, so Shawn is a registered dietitian, certified sports nutritionist, fellow of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, and has practiced over a decade as a chief clinical dietitian in an acute hospital and a skilled nursing settings. He has formulated for over 2 decades and speaks all over the world. Having also been on top podcasts such as On It and Ben Greenfield, he is a weekly expert on a national radio show called One Life Radio, on iHeartMedia. And he also will be in a documentary released very soon, on dietary supplements. But Shawn has also been on the ketogenic diet for over 20 years. He's been featured in international documentaries such as The Skinny on Fat, which released in 2018. And most recently on the Fox News, talking about 2019 health trends, including keto and fasting. Shawn overcome a suppressing nervous condition with keto, paleo, fasting, and supplements such as Epstein-Barr virus, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, depression, insomnia, obesity, and pituitary tumor is part of Shawn's passion and journey leading him to help others to win these battles too. Mr. Shawn Wells is also a nutritional biochemist and has been dubbed in the supplement industry as the world's greatest formulator, where he's formulated over 500 products available all around the world, and he has been an integral part of that industry with over 10 patents of novelty ingredients, including T-cream and diamine. Shawn is also the CEO of Zone Halo Research and a founding partner in both World's Greatest Ingredients, a novel ingredients discovery company, and Keywired, a supplement industry acquisition and investment firm. So do you see why I was excited to have Shawn on? I told you, he's amazing. And that's the beautiful thing about this whole episode is that I've just recorded a ton of different episodes. I'm going to put out one every 3-4 weeks. And guess what? It's people like this make you think very differently because he came in and he's so used to talking about nutrition and peptides and getting over stuff and all of this stuff. And we just didn't go there. That was the whole game plan, right? And we actually laugh at the end of the show. I think I left it still in. Because we just spoke about mindset, manifesting, and all of the other things. But hey, that's what we're here about on Mindset by Design. And if you are a new listener to the show, then welcome as always. As always, always great to have you on board. And what we're here about on Mindset by Design is simply world-class performance. Plain and simple, world-class performance so you can dominate any business, okay? So we're using neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, which I'm a world-class expert at, neural retraining, which is my systems. We're using concepts from neuroscience, gamification, the unconscious mind, conscious mind, and a sprinkle, as always, of spirituality. Whatever it takes to create true world-class performance. That's what my passion is. It's what my life's mission's about. And that's why I share this podcast with you. So, pretty cool? Beautiful. So I want you to use it like a library. Go back and scroll through episodes, see what the title is, and jump in, because it might just be the episode that changes your life. And speaking of changing lives, you probably want to go over and check the show notes out. I got some awesome things for you, as always, but it's only for when you're ready. I don't know what level you're at in your life or your business. I don't even know if you want to get world-class performance and go and really step up this year. Hey, you might just be listening to this and feeling happy with it. Hey, that's okay. But if you're wanting that next level in your business and life, then guess what? Well, you need to do something different and take some action. So, beautiful thing is, got some cool stuff for you. First one is bounce over to the show notes, because guess what? There's a free training there. It's an exclusive training. It's how to rapidly optimize physical and mental performance. So click that link. It's a free training for you. I know you're going to love it, okay? So make sure you're heading over there. That's level 1. Level 2 is where we go a little bit deeper. That's where you get to connect with me personally. Yeah, me personally. Yeah, we can have a chat for 30 minutes and we'll work out exactly how to unlock your performance. Yeah, we're going to identify those old patterns. I'm going to show you what's going on in the brain that's sabotaging you. I'm going to show you a concept that I've worked out from working with tens of thousands of people at the highest level. You know the deal, right? From people who were Saudi Arabian royalty, people who were running $300-400 million businesses, people going through IPO, world champion athletes. It goes on and on and on. Go and check the website out. But I also work with people at every level who are just wanting that acceleration, who are wanting to get to world-class performance. So whatever level of the game you're at, that doesn't concern me. What I do need is you to be ready. That's it, right? So, of course, there's a qualifier because I've only got so much time and I only take on 2 people a month. So if that sounds like you, then guess what you need to do? Yeah, hit the show notes, click the link, and smile, because guess what? Yeah, I'll probably be seeing you soon. Also, some other links in there. Make sure you're heading over to the Performance Incubator group on Facebook. I'm doing a training this Friday, actually. And yeah, make sure that you go in and heading over to the website, mindsetbydesign.co. And guess what? You can take the world's first business brain assessment, okay? Find out and discover exactly what your mindset is set to right now, because your mindset is your business. Fact, right? So whatever link's good for you, make sure you head over there. We've also got Stephanie and her Mindset by Design for her. It's a powerful little Facebook group. It really is. And she's doing live trainings and live themes every single week. So if you're a lady in business, head over there, okay? Do something different. That's all I'm asking you. I don't care what it is. Just do something different for yourself today. And speaking of something different, this episode's awesome with Shawn. I'm excited for you to hear it, and there is a massive golden nugget in there. There's a massive golden nugget. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but if you guess it, I think it might change your life, because it really changed mine. So see if you can find it. Much love, and I'll see you at the end of the show.
Hey, this is Shawn Wells, and I'm here on the Andy Murphy Show. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too, mate. I'm excited. So, Shawn,
Yes.
welcome, sir. Everyone listening, you've had my awesome intro as always, so you know I'm pumped about today's guest. It's a gentleman I've been following for quite a while because he's connected with everyone you can imagine in the health and fitness and internet marketing world. Absolute rock star. So I don't know where we're going to go today because Shawn can tell us about everything. But I'm excited to get to know you today. How are you, Shawn?
I'm doing amazing. I'm actually here in LA. I've been traveling, but normally I'm in Dallas. So I'm just excited to be on your show today and talk to your audience.
You're just kind, mate. You're just a nice guy. Have you ever lived in LA?
No, I have not. I come quite a bit for all kinds of conferences, media events, stuff like that.
Gotcha. It's I was there a few years. You know, it's LA, right? it's
Insane. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
insane, and I think it's getting more insane. So, what's home like for you? Is it very different?
Home, as in Dallas. What is it like?
Yeah, I've never been.
I live in Frisco, which is just north of Dallas on a lake, and I actually chose to do that when I was doing some traveling and working. And each time I stayed on the water, I had this, I was supposed to be vacationing. I'm not very good at vacationing. I end up working all the time. Even when I have the opportunity to not work, I end up working. But when I was on a couple vacations and then we were on the water, I just got so much more done and felt so much better about it that I ended up saying, like, when I got back from two different trips, I'm like, I'm getting a place on the water. And like a month later, I had a home on the water. And it's been a blessing ever since. I love walking every morning around the lake, and it's just there's something that's transfixing, something that's renewing about being by the water.
It's a beautiful thing, right? It's a weird thing though. It's like, why? Why, as a human being, are we like magnetized to water? Because I'm right now in Florida until next week, and I about to go back to Panama. But it's like everywhere. There's lakes everywhere, and in Florida, and it's like different lakes, I'm sure, but it's like swampy lakes. But it like pulls you in, and the ocean pulls me in. So, is there any science behind that, Shawn? I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Well, we do come from embryonic fluid in the womb, and maybe there's something there. Our bodies are majority water, and then when it comes to the ocean, there is that lunar pull that creates the waves that because our bodies are so much water, that maybe there's a pull that the celestial bodies have on us and a pull to the water. I don't know, there is something just primal about it. And then there's just the power of it.
Right.
It's just, yeah, there's just something. And the whole idea of water being life-giving and renewing and cleaning you. There's just something there.
Special, right? It was a random question, but it is a special thing, mate. It is.
Yeah.
And so you've done so much, Shawn, like in your life. You've done so much, buddy. I mean, where did this entrepreneurial thing burst open in you? Are you one of those kids who were around hustling, like selling stuff? Was it, did you see somebody, or was it just like a progression into this life?
Yeah, I think it was a progression, and I really got the fire once I figured out myself and fixing myself. I didn't know where I was going. I was actually in business school at Babson Business Specialty School, and this is the number one business specialty school in the country. Nice. And I was on path to get this incredible degree there. I was doing marketing and information systems, and I ended up, and, I was doing this because everyone told me to do this. Hey, you need to go into business. This is what you need to do. And so I went to business school, and that's what I was doing. And I ended up like working out and using supplements. And, this is like between my sophomore and junior year of college, and getting really into it, reading all the magazines. And I had to go to the doctor for a physical. Okay. And I was telling the doctor about this passion, and I was, really excited about it. And he saw how my face lit up, and the doctor looked back at me, and then he drew out this lifeline from 20 to 80. And he said, why not be happy between here and here? Whoa. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's one thing if some, earthy, crunchy, hippie dream chaser tells me, hey, go chase your dreams. But, at the time, like, this was a very established, very professional, very smart medical doctor that was saying he was giving me license to be happy and to chase my dreams. And so it literally changed my life path. And I wish I knew his name now. Like, it was just, to me, it's some random doctor, and it radically changed my path. And I can tell you right now, your words can radically change someone's path, because I wouldn't be the world's greatest formulator. I wouldn't be a nutritional biochemist. I wouldn't have helped sell many companies in the industry, and supplements. I wouldn't have saved lives with keto and biohacking and, people that were very sick. None of that would have happened if this guy didn't just have that little conversation with me that he didn't have to have.
Right. Mind blowing.
So I ended up finishing up my degree at Babson. I graduated magna cum laude. And then I got into UNC Chapel Hill eventually for my master's in nutritional biochemistry. But I needed about 2 years of prerequisite classes, all these sciences, to get in, because I was a business student.
Right.
So the flip side of this equation is my parents had moved down to Greensboro from Massachusetts. Moved down to North Carolina. And I decided to go to UNC Greensboro to get all my in-state classes to potentially get into Chapel Hill.
Gotcha.
And I see this guidance counselor, and I tell him, here's my dream. I want to be at Chapel Hill doing my master's, nutritional biochemistry, minor in exercise, sports science, all this stuff. I want to be a formulator. I want to be a sports nutritionist, dietitian, all these things. And he looks at me and he says, you're a business student. You will fail, and you will fail miserably if you try and take all these science classes. You're talking about trying to take 26 credit hours of science, organic chemistry, biochemistry, all this stuff. You'll fail. You will fail miserably. So let's set out something else for you. And I refused. I ended up leaving his office, refusing. I took 26 credit hours a semester of all these sciences and labs, and I got straight A's. I got into Chapel Hill. I finished up, just crushing it at Chapel Hill, becoming a registered dietitian.
Amazing.
And finishing in nutritional biochemistry, and eventually becoming a certified sports nutritionist, becoming a fellow in the International Society of Sports Nutrition.
Wow.
Doing studies with the International Society of Sports Nutrition, formulating 500 products and on and on.
Wow.
And patenting 10 different novel ingredients.
Wow.
But here's the thing. Again, if I had listened to this guy, just like this one guy gave me my dream, this other guy easily could have taken it away. And I just want to tell your audience, you have no idea of the power of your words. Luckily, that one day that doctor talked to me, I was listening, and it changed my path.
Right.
And luckily that day with the guidance counselor, I decided to say, screw you, and not listen to him. And I thought about him every single day I went to class. I'm like, I'm going to do this because this guy was a jerk and told me I couldn't.
I love it.
But the power of words, huge. You think your words don't have impact? They literally change other people's lives around you, sometimes quite radically.
That's beautiful. And amazing that you listen, Shawn, because imagine the world needs people like you, but it's I love that the words are so powerful. So we do have to be careful how we're treating our family. Never mind anything else, right? Our friends, right? Because we can take them so for granted. But the words that we're telling ourselves, that's the big one, right?
Huge. Yeah, you just hit on a massive one. If anyone else talked to you like you talk to you, you would not be their friend.
100%.
We talk to ourselves horribly. That's one of the most important biohacks I can give you, is changing the way you're talking to yourself. You are holding you back. No one else.
I love it.
No one else is holding you back from all the success in the world.
I love it.
The first step is getting rid of the negative self-talk, which also means potentially getting rid of the negative people around you. Then you're the product of the 5 people around you. So put the right people around you. Consciously put people around you. Go find them, pick them, find people that are successful, find the people that you want to be like. And if you have to email them every day, email them every day. If you have to move where you live, move. If you have to quit your job and make half as much, do that.
That's powerful.
Put the right people around you and your life will change. Then every day, talk to yourself in the right way. Daily affirmations, right? And start saying, Shawn, I love you, so I'm going to work out today. Shawn, you're a beautiful person. You have a really great heart. Think about how powerful it is, like when someone says those kind of compliments to you and means it. So you say it to you and mean it. The next step beyond that is manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where you start saying things like the reality, talking about them like they've happened, that are the things to come, that are your goals. Instead of saying, I wish, instead of saying someday, instead of saying I'm working towards, speak them into reality, and you'll fool your brain into already believing it's happened. And things will start to change and fall into place because you believe it, you see it, you envision it, and it will happen.
That's monstrous, amazing advice, mate. Especially what last part that you said. We'll talk about the internal dialogue section because we could go on about that for a long time. But that so here's so obviously when we're thinking about things in the future, there can become fear and desperation connected to that, because we can also become attached to that one scenario, and then we're thinking about that one scenario every day, so we're like clawing after it, right? So the other side is, you're saying that we talk about it as if it's already kind of in the past, or you're already experiencing it right now, because there's a subtle difference, right?
Yeah, I would say that, you have gratitude. You have gratitude for what has happened and what is happening. I mean, it really is both. You recognize that you took the steps, and give yourself the gratitude and grace, even for the failures that have led you here, because everything has led you here. So give yourself gratitude and grace for those things. And then say, I'm letting this flow into my life, and I am thankful for me being an 8-figure entrepreneur. I'm so thankful for that. And even if you're not there yet, that's where you'll be. Why will you get there? Because you're already seeing it. You're already believing it. And look, the most successful people are delusional. Some people call them crazy, right? They see things that other people don't see. They're strategic, they're visionary, they're mavericks.
Right.
Why are they mavericks? Because they're not listening to the people around them.
Right.
To most people.
Right. And that's the wrong people.
They've picked a couple key people,
right.
But 98% of the people they're not listening to. So they're mavericks. They're visionaries because they're seeing things already in their head. They're thankful for it. It's already coming together. Things that other people can't see that seem like so far off in the distance. You're already living. You're already thinking about. It's already a reality for you.
You're already in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful, man. So I think didn't think we were going to go down this path. I was talking. I love it, bud. So that internal dialogue, I think what people need to understand is every single time we're saying those words and it's automatic and unconscious, we have to, first of all, become consciously aware of that automatic pattern, right? Second step is understanding that each word that we're saying is directly connected to an emotion That emotion is connected to the way we see the world, our beliefs about what's about to happen, our attitude towards it, how we talk, everything, right? And that becomes our expectations. So if we're constantly repeating words automatically that are connected to images, connected to the past, connected to the future, and every one of them is a negative, or it's like 66% like negative, but on repeat, then guess what? We're in a constant state of the wrong emotion. And do you feel, what I teach is about driving states through emotions, right? So we recognize the emotion, we change the emotion, we change our belief and attitude towards what we're about to do. That becomes a different state or a different version of us. So with you, Shawn, we're hearing all this incredible success, man. And I absolutely love it. I'm like pumped to get to know you even after this episode, just to pick your brains with stuff. But what were some moments that got you here, that you really had to use this self-talk, really had to pull yourself into a different version of you, and that could manifest, that could feel like you already are having those experiences, not there in the future, because everything couldn't have just been a smooth ride, right?
Right. And, along the lines of what you're saying, like before I get into specific instances, for people that think like this manifestation thing is crazy, let me tell you where most people are at every day. They're manifesting things that won't come to pass in terms of fear. They're living in fear. Their self-talk is saying, they won't like me. I'm going to get up on stage and I'm going to fail miserably.
Right.
This isn't going to work out. I don't know why I'm doing this. All this negative self-talk, most of these things won't even come to pass that you're living in fear about. What if you change that and change the scarcity mindset to abundance mindset where things are overflowing? What if everything does go right? What if everything does fall into place? What if this person I meet tonight is the person of my dreams? You can totally change the narrative.
Right.
You're the author of your story. Right now, it's a story of fear. It's a story. One of my favorite books is The Four Agreements. And
beautiful book, yeah.
In the book, before you even get to the actual four agreements, he talks about that we make agreements with ourselves, that we believe the things people are saying about us. You could be the most beautiful girl in the world, and everyone around you tells you, oh, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. You're an ugly girl. Oh my God, you need to get plastic surgery. I'd never date you. And she could be the prettiest girl in the world, and she would believe she's ugly. She's made these agreements, and now she believes them. So we have made agreements, and they're not necessarily true. A lot of the things that you come to believe about yourself aren't even true. That's why you need to change the narrative for you in your head. You need to put the right people around you. Right. You need to have something like a vision board where you have a plan for your life, and the vision board is about literally seeing your future and looking at it every day and taking steps towards that future.
Beautiful.
But,
how do you,
yeah.
But again, it's not a smooth thing, right?
Correct.
Thing. So what have been some moments that pop up for you that you've had to really work to get that shift? Although you know this and believe this, what are some moments, mate?
Yeah, here's the deal. Like when I was working on my master's and finally like really on that path, I believed I could become the best supplement formulator in the world. And then eventually I got this title dubbed upon me the world's greatest formulator. Do you know how like actually crazy that is? Like I could say I want to be a famous Hollywood actor, and there's probably 1,000 Hollywood actors that supplement formulators. I mean, I couldn't have picked something more niche than that. and I wanted to be the best at it. Like that was my dream and I achieved it. But it's all I saw in my mind. And when I was working on my master's, half the time, like when I wasn't, working on literally my classes, I was on message boards. I was reading on my own. I was helping other people. I was at GNCs. I was reading magazines. I was picking up books. And then once I got my RD and I started working at nursing homes and hospitals, which was great.
Wow.
But every night I would be on the computer reading research studies. Every night I would be on a message board helping somebody with their supplementation for free.
Wow.
But getting better at it. And on Saturdays on my own time for minimum wage, I would work at a sports supplement shop.
Oh.
And on Sundays, I would be, calling people in the industry and just talking to them for hours and, picking their brain and thinking about these formulations, talking about, hey, can I meet you at the next conference at the Arnold, at the Olympia?
Wow.
Can I help you with your booth?
Wow.
Can I help you with this marketing write-up? Because I know the science. Let me answer questions for your company on these message boards. All of it for free.
Wow.
Actually, most of it at my expense. I would pay for hotels, flights. And I was already working 50, 60 hours a week as a dietitian, chief clinical dietitian.
Wow.
But then all my holidays, every evening, all my weekends, all my vacations were spent doing this. The first time I took an actual vacation was 10 years into my career. I looked at every vacation day as a chance to get closer to my dream.
Right.
And here's the thing. When you actually figure out what it is you're meant to do and you're chasing that dream, no one can outwork you. No one. If you're worried about someone that's putting in 50 hours, 60 hours, 100 hours, they could put in 100 hours a week. And if they don't have the passion, if they don't have the plan, if they don't have the focus, the vision, those 100 hours are nothing.
Right.
I could outwork their 100 hours with 10 hours. 10 hours of passionate, unfire work crushes 100 every day of the week.
That's awesome.
But for me, when you pair the passion with that work ethic, then I really felt unstoppable.
That's magic.
No one was going to outwork me. Yeah.
And that, did you feel that little equation there, passion, right, and work ethic? Do you think that is really like part of the secret sauce? Because is that the thing, Shawn, that gets rid of the noise, right? And I mean the noise in the head, the noise from around of you. There's just this noise that's constantly in our head, right? Is that the little tweak?
Absolutely. When you're working on your craft and when all you can think about is your craft, like even when I was doing rounds at a hospital or working with a patient or whatever, I don't know, I could be at the grocery store and all I'm thinking about is my dream, supplements. I know some people that are owners of companies and someone comes up to them and asks them about their craft or their company. And they're like, you know what? I'm at the gym. I don't want to talk. I've never experienced that. When people come up to me, strangers come up to me and ask me about supplements, I'm excited to talk about it.
That's awesome.
The reason I've become wealthy is because I would do this for free.
Because that's what you do. What else are you going to do?
Right. So many people are, you know what, I'm going to become a doctor because it'll make me wealthy. And that was the path I was on, right, in business. And I've certainly used the business. I've certainly used the marketing. I use it all the time.
Right.
But now I'm using it in science, in biohacking, in keto, and all these things that I'm doing because I love them. And that's the backdrop for it. That's strengthened me. But that's the game changer right there.
Right. That's the golden nugget of the century right there. Right. And so is that we talk about, I love the word obsession. I love it, right? And OCD, right? I've done a whole podcast about world-class OCD. I'm a big fan. We've just got to point it in the right way, right? We don't want to point it because we can spiral in negativity and beating ourselves up, or we can spiral in creativity and an amazing future. Do you feel that like OCD and that obsessive nature that you 100% have is a superpower?
Absolutely. And the people that call you obsessive are the people that are living in fear. They're the ones that haven't made the decision. They're the ones that have the negative self-talk. They're the ones that have the wrong people around them. They're the ones that are scared to take that step towards their dreams, so they don't want to see you achieve your dreams. And it's not like they're intentionally negative. It's just they're living in fear. And it's like the 4 agreements that don't take it personally. They're just projecting out on you. They're projecting their insecurities out on you. And once you realize that, you won't let it affect you. And not only will you not let it affect you, you'll actually feel sad for them.
Yes.
And maybe you'll even try and lift them up. I'm not saying you expend tons of energy on these people, but for someone that's right on the brink, maybe you can mentor them. It's really important to have mentors around you,
right?
But it's also really important to mentor. You can't be mentored unless you mentor.
Right.
You have to know the give and take. You have to know to teach, to be taught, right?
You have to be the student and the teacher, right? You have to be that humble, that connected, that not. And I love what you said, because this is my whole philosophy and everything I teach. It's the fear, right? And we're talking about the amygdala response. And people are living in that. And then people are constantly looking for dopamine hits, but the dopamine hits are not in alignment with them. And it can take them down sabotage patterns. It can take them down just a totally different way. Hence, social media. Click, 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 like, constantly dopamine hits, right? But what I'd love to teach and show, and I try my best in my own life, is why wouldn't you want those dopamine hits in your own business? Because what the brain searches is novelty, right? But a lot of people use it to escape. They escape with that novelty, the shiny object syndrome, the sabotage patterns. But if we just stayed focused, like you say, got rid of this noise, then what we're left with is a direct path towards what we want. We're feeling like we already have it, which is beautiful. And then, guess what? Then we switch the OCD on. And we're constantly looking for deeper and deeper inside of that business for those dopamine releases, right? And also the neuroepinephrine and everything else that comes into it. So is that another secret of your success? It's just being obsessed, vision, tunnel vision, and all the rest of it.
That's an interesting point. And we definitely are fear-based for a reason in terms of evolution and our survival.
Absolutely.
Like it's how we survived in very difficult times. We
Absolutely.
turn on this ability, like you, speaking of tunnel vision, if you were out in the wild and you heard like a rustling of the leaves, your heart rate changes, your perspiration changes. You know, you do have norepinephrine and epinephrine and cortisol, and those things go up, and you do get tunnel vision, and you start looking around for the predator. Mm-hmm. And we still seek this kind of survival instinct so often, but right now the scarcity mindset doesn't serve us. It served us in those environments.
Totally.
And it can protect your life.
Yes.
But quality of life comes from the abundance mindset. So we can live longer with the scarcity mindset, right, but we will live better with the abundance mindset. And that's so pivotal.
Yeah.
To change that and approach it that way. And yes, to your point, tunnel vision. Again, I think, people talk about life with balance, and
Right.
what that looks like depends on your idea of balance. For me, balance is like going out and chasing my dream and being the world's best formulator and saving 1 million lives and just wanting to get out of bed every day. That's balance. But some people will tell you that balance is, you need to watch 2 hours of TV a day. You need to, do all these different things. And that's balance to them. And that's not my balance. And quite frankly, the people, the people that have really changed the world, that have left a mark, are not at all balanced. I mean, they were just 100% in pursuit of something. Yes. And quite often it's at the expense of everything else. But you have to make that decision. You have to make the decision of how deeply you want to go into this, how bad you want to be that person, because there will be an expense. There will be sacrifice. I sacrificed 10 years of weekends, of holidays, of vacation time, of stuff. I could have been at the movies. I could have been hanging out with friends. I could have had drinks. I could have, gone to Orlando and gone to Disney World. And, instead I was like on a conference floor, with what was supposed to be my vacation, working an 18-hour day, but I was excited about it. That's the thing. That's the thing. Right? I was excited about it. I wasn't, there's a term I don't really like, which is grinding.
Ah, man, good. I'm glad you said that. I call this out all the time. Carry on, Shawn.
I don't really like that term because, there's points when you have to push through. You have to take one step in front of the other. Like maybe it is that negative self-talk and you just need to push. You just need to push for that moment. And then, when you put one foot in front of the other, there you are and you're out of it. But this idea of constantly grinding, I go back to more of the scientific aspect of what grinding is friction, and it's breaking off little pieces.
I love that.
And you're wearing down and little chunks are coming off and heat's being built. And then where are you? Where are you? If you're grinding all the time, you're miserable all the time. And you're fighting through your misery. You're not chasing down your dream. You're not living your joy. You're not living your truth. You're not showing up in the way you should be showing up. Your head's down. And when your head's down, you're not eyes up.
I love that. Head down, not eyes up. Yeah. And grinding.
So what is it you're going to see? What is it? You're not going to see your future. You're not going to see the beautiful people around you. You're not going to see the opportunities. You're not going to have the gratitude for all these amazing things, these blessings that are coming into your life that you should be super thankful for. Your head's down. You're grinding.
And nobody says, do they? Gives it, I get to go and grind today. No, it's always, I've got to do the grind. The grind, right? I love to use the word hustle, right? And flow. Mm-hmm. I love the word hustle because to me, it's hustling. You're getting in it. You're going after it. Like grinding, no, it's like, I've got to do this again. That's like back in the day when I was like 20 years old working in a car factory. That's going in. That's real grinding, putting parts in cars. It's like, But the beautiful thing is, Shawn, whatever level of the game is that we get to do this, right? We
100%.
You get to wake up and help literally change the world with what you do. You literally are changing the world. And if you don't wake up tomorrow, this is the beautiful thing, man. If you don't wake up tomorrow, which one day we won't, you have left this beautiful legacy behind you that the world can then evolve off, grow off, adapt and change. And whether you're here or not, you have literally left an imprint in this consciousness right? If you want to call it that, which I do, right? So it's like you've left literally an imprint in this consciousness. That's special, man. That's special. Like you should be proud of that, bud. You should be, you know, and I'm sure you are.
I am. I am. No, it's and you know what? It's on the shoulders of giants. Like you talk about legacy, and there will be people after me that take the work I do and improve it and go further.
Right?
But there were people before me that I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the knowledge I have, that I'm so blessed that I saw them. Even for people that weren't in my life as mentors, I modeled them from a distance. So again, you don't think your words matter, and you know your actions matter even more. There are people watching that you don't even realize are watching, that are going to become the next you, probably.
Right.
There's someone out there that's thinking, man, Andy Murphy, I love what he's doing. Like, I want to be the next Andy Murphy. And, you know, you just think you're getting on a podcast some days, you know, and it's like, but there's someone out there that's like, it's radically changing their life path again. And I like hustle and flow because, actually, going back to balance, the one balance biologically we should seek is parasympathetic, sympathetic.
The nervous system, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
absolutely.
Sympathetic often gets called fight or flight, and you were talking about dopamine responses and you know, that whole pathway, especially with epinephrine, norepinephrine, and those things.
Right.
So those are things we seek. We seek thrill, we seek adventure, all those kinds of things. But we also need parasympathetic, the rest and digest, the meditate, the gratitude, the Zen.
Yes.
And so hustle is sympathetic.
Yes.
Flow, parasympathetic. This just came to me.
I know. I love that because I haven't explained it like that. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And there's a balance to it, that you hustle and flow, that you move quickly, and then, you know, and you accomplish, but then you take stock of your accomplishments, and you plan, and you have gratitude, and you meditate, and then you execute, and then you plan, have gratitude, and you meditate, and you have your creative moments, and then you execute.
I love it.
And you hustle and you flow.
You hustle and you flow. Man, that's a book we should write. That's a hustle and flow.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. It's. I love it because, again, talking about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, what I try to train, whether it's an entrepreneur or someone putting TV on a TV set, whether it's a world-class professional athlete, it's the same thing. What I try and do is we drop the brainwave frequency and we train the nervous system to respond and get used to what it's trying to do. So if someone's having I've worked with people years ago who like collapsing. No doctor can work out what's going on. I fixed them in like 1-2 sessions. Why? Because we're retraining the nervous system to get used to what's there. It's like stepping into the unknown. Well, of course we switch the brain stem on, right? Of course we do, because we're like getting ready to bob and weave. But the truth is that if you get your nervous system used to that, then what we're doing is we're not reacting. We're responding to what we're like putting someone on a TV set. It's the same thing. So when I love to do is I teach people to move from 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8 plus thinking. And that's not me teaching them business tools. If that's the 8 figures, what we're doing is we're changing their whole nervous system or the neurology to match that level of where they're at. So if you're in an 8 figures, well, what's your belief system? What's your expectations? What's your heart rate? Even what the micro muscles on your face are doing, right? It's normal. And so when we can do that in life, like you're saying with the visualization, which is everything that I do, when we can get ourselves used to being in that life that we want, then we're not trying to resist it. We're not scared of it. We're not pushing away from it. And I love what you've said. It's simple, but it also comes from wisdom, right? And that's the wisdom of you. Yeah, of course it does, man. You don't think like you do, and you haven't had the success like you have if you haven't been on such a radical journey. Because we've all had sleepless nights. We've all been freaked out. We've all been stressed, right? We've all had anxiety. But then what I like to say is, now what? Now what, right?
So 100%, we wouldn't have the drive we have. So I've worked on branding with several entrepreneurs, helping them rebrand their companies, position them for acquisition. And it's really interesting because just like healing through biohacking, keto supplements, and all the things that I do, you also can heal a CEO like you're talking about, heal that leader. And it's fascinating because when you dig in, most entrepreneurs have a traumatic story, have very dark past, have demons. That's the reason that they're so driven.
That's it.
So driven. And entrepreneurs, look, everyone's got a past. Everyone's been through trauma. But I just find entrepreneurs in particular, when I dig in, they have history of sexual molestation. They have a history of being bullied. They have a history of violent abuse. They have a history of dealing with a narcissistic significant other.
Yep.
And they went through years of trauma. And literally, I've heard this story over and over and over. And people want to hear those stories. And it's called The Hero's Journey.
Yes.
And it's like, if you read Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand, like that's kind of at the essence of it. He takes that hero's journey, right? Think of like Rocky, Rudy, the Karate Kid, right? The Karate Kid is this, poor kid from New Jersey who moves out to California where all the kids are rich. Right. And, he just gets bullied and beat up. And Rocky, he doesn't have much brains. He gets made fun of. He's left-handed, southpaw. Right. And he comes from poverty, and no one thinks anything of him. He doesn't have a whole lot of genetic blessings. Right. And, Rudy, he's this, little guy that has this dream of Notre Dame, but he's too small. He's too thin. Right. Like you see the theme, and then they become the hero, and we love this story. But it doesn't stop with you becoming the hero. That's only halfway through the journey. The next step is you become the guide or the mentor. Because what did the Karate Kid have? He had Mr. Miyagi.
Yes, he did.
What did Rudy have? He had Rock, right? And what did Rocky have? He had Mick.
Oh, Mick.
Right? So they have these guides. And then if you follow these stories through, like even further in the arc, like what does Rocky become? He becomes the mentor to Creed, right? Yes. And there's a new Karate Kid show where Ralph Macchio is the mentor, right?
Yeah.
So this is our role. Like we don't tell people we tell people our hero's journey so they can identify with us, but then we connect with our tribe by telling them, I want you to be the hero, and here's how.
I love that. That right there. That's such a golden nugget, man, because it is, we have to evolve past, we have to evolve into, that full hero's journey circle. And what I love about what you said about trauma, man, it's interesting because when I first moved to LA, I was working with a lot of professional fighters, right? That's really, and that took me into working with Hollywood people and all the rest of it. But the truth is, I work with so many trauma victims. I work with abuse victims, post-traumatic stress disorder. I work with rape victims. I work with OCD face-picking disorders that people can't fix. I work with everything you can imagine that no one else could fix, and I'd fix them. Why? Not because I'm like, hey, no, because I just knew what to do. Why? I'm passionate. I'm obsessed about my craft. And the reason I tell you that is that I stopped working with all those type of people. Why? One, it's very draining. But secondly, I found that's just entrepreneurs, right? So I can help you build your brain inside your business. But really what's behind it all is this, right? So we heal the nervous system, get clear on this. You get the idea, mate, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. One of the things that, I worked on and like when I looked back through all my notes, I've gone through like so many masterminds, so many conferences, I've read so many books, and I even I paired up with a partner, a lady named Jamie Lee Fraser, and we created this company called Quired, where we help some companies in the supplement, food, and beverage space move towards acquisition. But when I looked through all of this stuff, I came up with some central themes about what it takes for a brand to be successful. And I call it building a brand with cause. And it's connection, authenticity, uniqueness, storytelling, and emotion. And those are what I found, like when I listened to Jay Shetty, when I listened to Ty Lopez, when I listened to all these people at these conferences and masterminds, again, I was just going through my notes. Like, what is it they're talking about here? Like, what is it that moves the needle? What is it that creates success beyond success? Like a virality, like a tribe, like that's pull instead of push, like that.
Right.
And it's those things. Like you have to connect with your tribe. You have to be authentic. Everyone smells that. And think about like when you get on Facebook or Instagram and all these different things, you're just, honestly, you're tired of like the filters, right? Mm-hmm. And even if someone like does something that's almost horrible or unforgivable, sometimes you're like, at least he's authentic. Right. Right? Like you're like, right. It's kind of refreshing that he's actually saying something authentic. We're all scared now to say like what we're actually thinking. We need to filter all the time. And it's the one thing that can lead to our true success. If we say what we're actually thinking, if we put what we're feeling out there, and then that becomes unique, right? And that's a key in marketing, right? Is points of differentiation, unique selling points, right? Right. Is unique. And then, like I said, storytelling is one of the most essential pieces in how we connect with people. We connect through story. People learn through story. People don't remember lists. They don't remember like the top 20, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They remember stories. So you tell a story and it connects, and that's the last thing is emotion. Yeah.
I love it, Shawn. It's been very nice to get to know you, buddy, and have a good chat today, mate. I appreciate your time so much. I really do, because I know that you're really busy, and you held off because you're going to jump on a plane in a few minutes. And we'll wrap this up now, but how do people connect with you? Because listening to this, by the way, everybody listening, Mindset by Design crew, this wasn't going to be the topic for today. We were actually going to talk about nutrition.
What happened? I was just going to tell you that. Like, I thought we were going to talk about supplements and nutrition and science, and we ended up going on mindset. That is totally cool.
But that's the way it flowed. The universe knew better, right? The universe knew better.
Yeah, you're Andy Hustle and Shawn Flow. I think like we could be like some duo. Like we need a TV show, Hustle and Flow.
It could be a good thing. I like that. I like that. All over Zoom.
Okay.
Where can people connect with you, brother?
Yeah. So on Instagram at Zone Halo, ZONEHALO. And then my website is ShawnWells.com, ShawnWells. And, I'm on the various platforms, but those are probably the two biggest ones to connect with me. So
I'll put links everywhere, buddy, for you. So
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Links everywhere. Of course. I'll be sharing it everywhere, my friend. But Is there any final words of wisdom or anything you want to leave the Mindset by Design crew with?
Yes. And I think it's the most important one. I mentioned the 4 agreements and how pivotal that was for me. The other most important thing for me is when I watched a documentary on Netflix called Be Here Now.
Ramdas.
And it's yep, exactly. The story is about Andy Whitfield specifically in this documentary, but it's that book that he bases that off of. And it's the power of mindfulness and being present. And every time you feel frustrated that someone's talking to you distracted, or that you get a text that really doesn't have depth, or you're having a conversation and someone's looking around the room for something else, someone else, what if you take that and you engage and you purposefully are there, you're present? What if you write a couple extra lines that are from the heart? What if when you think about someone, you let them know, you text them and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. You can watch your life transform just by being present and stop distracted so much from your cell phone, from the computer, from the internet, from, all these relationships that you think are so important around you, from the TV, from all these different things that we've put around us to keep us distracted. What if you focused right here, right now? How much more could you accomplish? On a productivity standpoint, it's a game changer. But what about the quality of your relationships? Don't you hate it when someone's half with you and half not?
Of course.
So start being present.
It's beautiful, mate. And Ramdas is someone I've followed for many, 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 many years and listened to thousands of hours of him. And that's a special guy. If you don't know Ramdas, do a little Google search. But I haven't seen that documentary, Shawn, so I'll definitely go and check that out. But it's been a pleasure, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate it really, really so much. Yeah. And I'll let you know when this is out.
Awesome. Well, and if you'll have me back, maybe next time I can talk about supplements and biohacking.
I'd love you back, and then maybe we can extend it to like an 18-hour podcast.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Andy.
My pleasure, buddy, and thank you so much. So, crew, there we are, the end of episode 226. Gotta love Shawn. Right, gotta love Shawn. I love that episode so much. It's definitely one of my favorites I've ever done. I just love Shawn. And you could tell that he's an incredible, incredible human being. And speaking of incredible things, make sure you're heading over to the show notes and clicking on Shawn's link. And for sure to find out all the latest and greatest of what's going on with him and in the health world. And also make sure that you're heading over to the show notes. You know your levels. Level 1, what are we doing? We got an exclusive free training to rapidly optimize physical and mental performance. Exclusive training, it's there for you now for free, which is pretty epic. Also, level 2, guess what? That's where we unlock your performance. And if you want to really unlock your full potential, then we need to chat for sure. And guess what else? Well, we got the brain assessment and we got lots of other cool things, including Stephanie. So go and make sure you're hitting one of those links. Step up, do something different, and make sure you're doing one favor for me. What's that? What's that, Andy? Yeah, share this, like this, comment on this on every platform you can. And I love you for it, right? Speaking of loving you for it, I will see you on the next episode. Until then, why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.